Hey bookworms, I'm Becca and today I'm doing my, what month is it? August. My August wrap up. Well, it's not August now, it's September. That's why I'm doing my August wrap up. Anyway, in the month of August I read a total of 4 books and one of those was an audiobook, which is new for me, so that was fun. I had a pretty good reading month. I had 2 5-star books, 1 4-star book, and a 3-star book, so not too shabby. I'm really excited to share with you the books that I read this month, so let's get started. The first book I read this month was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I don't feel like pulling it down from my shelf, so deal with it, I guess. Everyone knows what Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is, so I don't think that I really have to go into much detail as far as plot and summary. But I did do a discussion-y video, which I'll leave linked if you want to check that out. I really enjoyed it. I think that it's a small group of people that really enjoyed this story, and I'm one of them. Originally, I did give it 5 stars, but I feel like upon review, I could bump it down to at least 4, 4.5, because some of the issues I had with it, I feel are big enough issues to warrant knocking it down a little bit. But overall, I did really enjoy the story and it was fun being back in the world. I really liked it, guys. I just really liked it. The second book that I read, or listened to rather, was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This follows a girl named Cadence Sinclair, and her family is fairly wealthy. They own an entire island off the coast of Martha's Vineyard, and it follows Cadence from the time she was young. She always hung out with her cousins every summer on this island. One year when they were 15, an accident happens. You don't know what it is because Cadence forgets the entire rest of the summer. Now, a few years later, after she's had a bit of time to recover, she still suffers from horrible migraines. She finally returns back to the island for a summer and tries to put the pieces together of what happened during summer 15, and it feels like her family's lying to her, so it has this air of mystery surrounding it, and I highly recommend listening to it instead of reading it, because if I had been actually reading it, I feel like I would have figured out the twist quite early on, but listening to it, I had no clue, and my mind was freaking blown. That was probably one of the biggest twists that I've ever read in my entire life, and I love big twists in books. I did a review of that one as well, which I'll leave linked so that you guys can check it out if you want to see more of my thoughts on that. I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read, I just did a book talk on it, so I'll leave it linked, and it's The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I buddy read this with Heather from Love Me Some Sarcasm, and I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. She did as well. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, and I honestly don't understand this huge surge in popularity that The Book Thief got last year, because I really didn't love it all that much. If you don't know, this follows a young girl named Liesel in Nazi Germany, and it follows just her life living as a German in Nazi Germany, which I think was a very unique perspective to take, because most of the books I read set in World War II or Nazi Germany are from a Jewish character's perspective, or a minority who is really trying to survive. The narrator in this book is deaf, so that's kind of interesting. It didn't really work as well for me as I hoped it would, but it was still a really interesting story. And the last book I read this month, which is probably my favorite book of the entire month, was Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. This is an ARC, but it's in stores now, and everyone needs to go read this book right now because it's freaking amazing. It's about a girl named Charlotte, or Charlie for short, and she self-harms, so there's a big trigger warning for self-harm and suicide and depression and all that jazz. She wakes up in a treatment center. She gets released from the treatment center and she ends up moving down to Tucson, Arizona to live with one of her friends, kind of. But even when she gets there, the landlord says she has to be out in 2 weeks. It's a survival story, And even with the really difficult topics in this book, it left me completely full of hope. It's one of my new favorite books, probably my favorite book that I've read this year. I cannot wait for other people to read this book so that we can talk about it. That's what I said. One of the hardest things about reading my first arc was that I don't have anyone to talk about it with. So I need everyone to go out and read this book so that we can talk about it together, because it's freaking amazing. I could rave about this book forever. I did a review of this one too, and I think that you guys should check it out because hopefully it'll make you want to read it a little bit more. It was so good. And those are all the books that I read this month. If you've read any of the books that I mentioned or plan on reading them, let me know down below in the comments. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below to see more bookish videos. And that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you next time.